Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk movies, television, and wrestling. I'm, of course, the Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for Season 2, Episodes 2 and 3 of Daredevil Born Again. But before we get into that, let's get the house cleaning out of the way. Remember to leave a like, comment below, let me know your thoughts on Daredevil Born Again. And of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into it, shall we? So, one of the things that we have heard heading into this season is that it is overall great. It's better than Season 1. But it takes a little bit to get going. They say after you get through the first 3 episodes, the show just really takes off, right? It's a slow start. And, after we watched episode 1, we were like, I don't know where the slow start was. I thought that was pretty good. Okay, well, they're releasing episodes 2 and 3 together. Typically, when they do that, they know one episode is relatively weaker. So, therefore, okay, that's where, the slowness is going to come into play. But we'll get it out of the way, right? God, I could have taken week to week of these 2 episodes as well. I mean, I said in my immediate thoughts on TikTok that this is the closest that I have ever gotten to really feeling like maybe since season 3 of the Netflix show that I have felt like I was watching the comic. Like, a lot of shots really felt like comic panels. I'm loving the supporting cast throughout. Like, it's no longer just about Fisk and Matt. At this point, now it is about Karen. It is about Heather. It's about Buck. It's about BB. It's about Yusef or the detective in here. It's about the rogue cop force that's over there. Like, there's so many characters that we are bouncing back and forth from that are very, very interesting to see. I mean, everything we're doing with Bullseye is really, really interesting as well, especially with the dynamic with Vanessa. My favorite shot in these 2 episodes was definitely when Vanessa was having the dream and she's under the bridge, and when it has that pan shot, because it looks like it looks like a gun hole with how it's you can obviously tell I don't know a whole lot about guns, but it looks like in 007 when in the inside of the gun hole. But it's a bridge, and it's a beautiful cinematography shot. That also really felt like it was straight out of a comic panel in that way. And I do feel like he's going to get her in this season. Because, one, I don't know how this season doesn't end with anything but Daredevil winning, and meaning that the vigilante strike and the curfew will be lifted by then. Because of one thing only. And that's because of the Spider-Man trailer. And how am I connecting Spider-Man and Daredevil together? 1, they're both taking place in New York. 2, in the trailer for Spider-Man, Spider-Man is receiving the key to the city of New York. And, if the mayor is still having this whole that vigilantes can't be out and, they're the enemy of everything, then, a vigilante like Spider-Man cannot begin the key to the city. So, therefore, there's no way that this show does not end, or this season does not end, with Kingpin losing and probably not being mayor at the end. And maybe he loses his wife out of it as well, because we are starting to hit that a couple of times. There was a couple times, I think it was in episode 2, like when she's having a conversation with Heather at the party, and she feels him. She feels him there. Yeah, it's in episode 2 because it's right before the best shot in the whole entire show so far, when she's having the dream. Like, she feels him. She looks out the window. Like, I don't see him, but I feel his presence. I'm like, why don't you move away from the window? Like, she just feels like she is so up high. And also all these conversations that she's having with Fisk about, hey, let's get away. Let's go to the countryside. Let's go over here. Let's do that. And, they're having all these really nice moments with each other. I'm just like, she's about to go. I really want to be surprised if she goes in the next episode. Yeah. But, it's not just everything with Vanessa. I don't want Vanessa to go, too. Like, I want to make that very clear. But, if Kingpin's ever going to get to, full Kingpin, then, the love of his life has to go. You know what I mean? But anyway, it's not just that side of the bad guy group that I'm concerned about. I am concerned about Heather. Who I wasn't a huge fan of in season 1. And in this season, I'm not a huge fan of her either. Like, the conversation that she's having with Duffy, where she's so blinded by her hate for the vigilantes that, she's saying that Muse was a vigilante when he clearly wasn't. but she clearly has some stuff going on up here in the head. She kept the mask. Like, that's really interesting to see. And I will say, I do ship the relationship between her and Buck. Buck, I'm also really interested in as well. I do think he's going to be the one that kills the heir. I think Vanessa and, the heir, I don't remember his name, but, he's like second counsel or something like that. He's like ahead of it. But I think he's going to go, and Buck's going to be the one to shoot him and kill him, because he's not going to have it in him to rat out BB. He knows BB's the one who's doing, the one impersonating Fisk with the mask and all that. He knows it because, they had that conversation at the dinner table, but he's not going to have it in him to rat her out because he cares about her. He loves her in that way, which I get. BB is a beautiful woman, for sure. But it is going to be at the risk of his life, and especially since I've heard he's not in season 3 of the show. So yeah, I think he's going to go, which is kind of sad because I was enjoying that character quite a bit. I would like to see this guy who was completely in over his head to finally embrace the Kingpin Empire and probably like figure out and tweak some things here and there to really be a successful heir to the throne. In a lot of ways. But yeah, I just don't see him going. But yeah, that confliction that Buck is having because he is starting to like him, like he's talking with Heather. Again, I do ship that relationship. I do hope we explore that moving forward. He's like, yeah, the kid's actually kind of growing on me. I was like, oh, yep, you're going to be the one who has to shoot him, aren't you? To really show how cold-blooded you truly are. As for the good guy side, it's kind of more of the same. It's still very, very engaging. Don't get me wrong. The whole courtroom scene was pretty good with Duffy and the swordsman. The swordsman had that badass line that I'm definitely going to butcher here, where he's like, I'm just here, to entertain the masses, just for the person who has control of all the cables or something like that. It's a really, really badass line in there as he's getting convicted guilty, where like he knew, like, look, no matter what, I'm guilty. Like, I appreciate you trying your absolute best, but there's no way for me out of here whatsoever. And Matt getting mad about that, and him and Karen kind of having a conversation that him and Frank would have with each other, the Punisher, where, she's kind of like, look, if you just, I'm not saying kill all of them, but if you kill Fisk, like, we bite the head off the snake. It's kind of what we're going through within this latest season of Invincible. Like, when is it okay to kill? Like, at some point, you are just putting a Band-Aid over the problem. If they're not going to stop, then you need to put them to a permanent end, which, death is okay in that scenario. And, Karen is kind of on that side while Matt's always like, no, don't kill, don't take revenge. It's not going to bring anyone back. It's not going to solve anything long-term. And Karen's like, I don't know, it might will. So I enjoyed those conversations as well. But man, the best part of these, of the second episode for that matter, which really did feel like a comic in a lot of ways. We got it at the end of episode 2 as well, when he got punched and then like he did a devilish smile, then he kicked their ass. But that oneer where he's breaking them all out of prison was so badass. And, him passing it to the swordsman doing some stuff too, seeing him in action, Daredevil and him going at it. It was so badass. Seeing our girl back here from the White Tiger storyline, I'm really happy we're going to continue on that story. I actually read some of her comics. I didn't read much of the original, who was, in season 1 of Born Again. I knew her. Like, so when they saw her, I was like, well, I know she becomes White Tiger at some point, but I guess she's a little too young for it. Nope, we're doing it right now. I was really, really happy to see that. Even though I'm not as familiar with her, still excited to see her journey, especially with her being, like, wearing it and, like, getting, like, really excited while doing it. Like, she had the knife. She was like, yeah, screw those police officers. I just love this whole ride, man. I truly did. I mean, from everything. Episode 3 is definitely the strongest episode. Every episode really does seem like it's topping each other. If this was the slow portion, what the hell could we possibly be into when we do get to episode 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth? Ooh, excuse me. I am sorry about that, but it was just coming up. I was coughing. It was not, a puke by any means. It was just I guess my throat was really dry and I needed some water. But yeah, I absolutely love these 2 episodes. Episode 3 was the best. It was some of the best episodes of Daredevil overall, for that matter. I cannot recommend this show enough, and I cannot wait for next week and talk about it with y'all then. But yeah, comment below and let me know your thoughts on these 2 episodes of Daredevil, because clearly I can't anymore. Leave a like if you made this far in the review. I do greatly appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. And don't forget to squeeze the days, guys, because life is too short not to give you all. So squeeze every opportunity that you can. Until next time, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.